The latches that hold an Airbus A320 family fan cowl door closed sit on the underside of the engine nacelle, low down, facing the tarmac. Stand beside that engine at normal standing eye height, and a latched cowl looks exactly like an unlatched one. Same panel line, same gap, same paint. On the 24th of May 2013, a British Airways A319 registered GEUOE rotated off the runway at Heathrow bound for Oslo, and both fan cowl doors departed the aircraft. One of them punctured a fuel pipe on the way off. The fire didn't start until the aircraft was back on final approach to Heathrow, and it burned until after it was on the ground. Nobody died. And the two technicians who left those doors unlatched had done an entirely ordinary night's work. A modern turbofan wears several layers of removable skin. The fan cowl doors are the pair of panels covering the forward section around the fan case. They hinge upward from the top and latch along the bottom seam. Further aft sit the thrust reverser cowls, a separate structure with their own hardware and their own procedures. The fan cowls are the ones a technician opens most nights, because most of the routine access lives behind them. They're light, they're hinged, closed, they're just part of the engine again, one continuous surface with a seam running along the bottom and the latches tucked up inside it. The task that night included integrated drive generator oil servicing. The integrated drive generator, the IDG, is the unit that converts engine rotation into constant frequency electrical power for the aircraft. Like anything with gears and a shaft, its oil level gets checked and topped up. To do that, you need a servicing gun and the correct oil, and those items were not at the aircraft. So the technicians did the sensible thing. They opened the cowls, exposed the IDG, and set off for stores to collect the gun and the oil, intending to come back and finish the job. Open first, fetch second. It is an efficient order of operations. It is also the point where the job got split in two, on a night shift, at a very large airport. They drove back out to finish. They went past stand 513, where GEUOE was sitting, and carried on to stand 517. According to the AAIB's report, the technicians had misidentified both the stand and the airframe, and ended up at a different British Airways Airbus. Registration GEUXI, they found that aircraft's cowls already closed. They concluded that another team had finished the job. That is the moment the error sealed itself, because the evidence in front of them agreed with the wrong conclusion. Human factors has a precise word for this category of error. A mistake is when you carry out your intention perfectly and the intention itself was wrong. A violation is when you knowingly depart from the procedure. This was neither. The AAIB's human factors advisor classified what happened here as a slip. The intention was correct, and the action went somewhere else. GEUOE was released to service with both fan cowl doors unlatched. Sitting on its stand in the morning, the aircraft looked finished. The next people to walk around it were the flight crew, arriving for a routine short haul to Oslo. They were looking at an airliner that had been worked on overnight and signed off by an airline with a full engineering organization behind it. What they could not see was the one thing about it that had been left undone. Every departure begins with a walkaround. That's the exterior inspection where a member of the flight crew walks the aircraft looking for damage, fluid leaks, loose panels, anything out of place. It is a real defense, and it catches real problems every day of the year. It did not catch this one. The latches were where they always are, underneath, out of the sight line you get from the ramp. Seeing them means getting low and looking up into the underside. The walkaround was performed. The doors were unlatched. Both statements are true at once, and that is the design problem in a single sentence. As the nose came up on takeoff, both fan cowl doors detached from the aircraft. The AAIB documented substantial structural and systems damage. Panels leaving an engine at rotation speed do not depart politely. One of them punctured a fuel pipe on the right engine, the number 2 engine, and fuel began leaking. There was no fire yet. Air traffic control told the crew they'd left debris on the runway. It was the cabin crew who reported the right engine blown open. So the information arrived in pieces from outside the cockpit about an airframe damaged in ways nobody up front could see or inventory. They turned back for Heathrow. A right engine fire warning came at 07:39 and 27 seconds, roughly 23 minutes after takeoff, with the aircraft on approach. GEUOE was on the ground at 07:43 and 51 seconds, and the airport fire service fought the fire after landing. That fire is the detail that separates this event from every similar one before it, because there were similar ones. Picture what one of those looks like from the line mechanic's side. A departure, a bang, some missing panels, an aircraft that comes back and goes into the hangar. Structural repair, paperwork, an entry in a database, the fleet keeps flying. A failure that stays inside those boundaries never builds the pressure that forces a redesign. It gets absorbed as a known cost of operating the type. The AAIB's finding here reaches past 2 individuals. It counted 34 previous fan cowl door losses across the 320 family, going back years, 21 on V2500 powered aircraft, 13 on CFM56 powered aircraft. GEUOE was the 35th. Not one of the earlier events had produced collateral damage close to this. And not one of them produced the change that would have mattered, a fix that makes an open latch visible from the ground. The system got attention, it never got a fix you could see. GEUOE is the event where the bill came due on a full passenger flight at the busiest 2-runway airport in the world. EASA made the modification mandatory in 2016 through 2 airworthiness directives, 20160053 for the V2500 powered aircraft and 20160257 for the CFM56 fleet. An airworthiness directive is a legally binding order from the regulator. It requires a specific fix on a specific fleet by a specific deadline. People will keep slipping on dark ramps at the end of long shifts. That is what tired humans do, and no amount of training deletes it. So the engineering answer was to make an open latch announce itself. Readable from the ground, in 1 second, long before anyone gets near a runway. Airbus's answer arrived in December 2015. It was a latch key carrying a remove before flight flag. The key will not come out of the latch unless the latch is fully closed. So an unlatched cowl now hangs a red streamer off the bottom of the nacelle. A closed one hands you the key.